And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to Oklahoma Sportscene, and welcome back to Scheels. We were here a few weeks ago when they were getting ready to open this place. Well, they did open it. October the 19th. Take a look at this crowd. What a celebration it was. This was the scene on October 19th at Woodland Hills Mall outside the Scheels store. After more than 2 years of construction, Scheels opened its 34th store nationwide, its first in Oklahoma, the ribbon-cutting ceremony. They had skydivers, all kinds of special activities here. Scheels offers certainly a unique shopping experience inside 313,000 square feet, 75 specialty shops. Tell us more about it. Their social media director, Bobby Brown's with us here. Bobby, you survived it. How was the opening for you guys?
I survived, yes. It was amazing. Everybody was out there, positive energy, ready to come into the store to experience Tulsa Scheels. Now, even we had associates out there that were kind of hyping the crowd, keeping everybody active. We had food vendors. We had vendors from brands that we sell. And people were just super excited, even coming out as early as, I think it was 4:40 in the morning, we had the earliest person come out.
Wow. And first impressions, what have people told you?
First impression was, I didn't know people had heard about us. They'd seen us online on social media. They had looked us up on the website, but they didn't realize everything, all that it was. They were blown away. It was more than what they expected.
So give people an idea what Scheels has to offer.
Well, what we have to offer is we like to call it a destination, a shopping experience. Yeah. Most people spend about 2.5 hours here shopping. They want to get some candy at Fuzzywigs. They want to get some fudge at Jenna's. They want to ride the Ferris wheel. They want to check out the 16,000-gallon saltwater aquarium. Gosh. And, of course, then do a little bit of shopping. And then when they come here, they're not going to come in here and just ask for a size 8 shoe. They're going to get someone that's going to talk to them. Why are they looking for that shoe? Are you going running? Where are you going to go run? Let's find the right shoe for you. So we have our experts here that are going to help you figure out what you need when you're out shopping.
One thing I'm so impressed by is the attitude of everybody around here. I think a lot of it goes with the employee-owned part of Scheels, too.
Yes, absolutely. We are 100% employee-owned. As soon as you start working, you get ownership into the company, and then it builds as you grow with the company.
Incredible. Bobby, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Scheels.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to work with you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Take a look now at our show lineup here at Oklahoma Sports Scene this week. Going to feature Todd Berry, the former head football coach at West Point. The Army, of course, one of the big stories of college football this year, undefeated, nationally ranked with the Black Knights. He'll also talk about his time in the American Football Coach Association and what's going on with the college game he's a little concerned about. Mario Sanchez, he's the head coach of FC Tulsa, wrapping up their soccer season here. And we'll have Dale Day with a big report from Oklahoma City, Remington Park, on the 30th Oklahoma Classics. And my man Michael Knight made it all the way back from somewhere in the Panhandle covering a high school football game last week. All that coming up on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Let's wrap this past weekend in college football for the Big Four. Actually, we'd like to forget this past weekend for the Big Four. Oklahoma State, what a heartbreaker, losing in the last seconds at Brigham Young, 38-35 on a nationally televised Friday night game. Still gave the Cowboys a B, though, just for the effort. Lost their starting quarterback, 4 of their top defensive players out, drove the length of the field towards the end of the game, took the lead, then just couldn't hold it at the end. That leaves the Cowboys now 0-4 in the Big 12. And, of course, that disaster at OU. The only positive thing that came out of that first home performance for Sooner football team that I can remember was head coach Brent Venables fired offensive coordinator Seth Luttrell. Moved up Joe John Finley to call plays temporarily for the rest of the season here. OU's offense ranked 128th out of 134 teams. They had to Ole Miss this weekend. Tulsa at Temple. This is a game Tulsa was supposed to win, should have won, could have won, but didn't. They lost 28-10. They now are 2-5, gave them a grade D on the road. LSU Arkansas, quite a battle over in Fayetteville. Number 12 Tigers won 34-10. Arkansas had a chance to win this game. Couldn't close the deal, though. Gave the Hogs a grade C on that as they now dropped to 4-3. Can you believe this? We already reached Week 9, 2024 college football season. Here's the schedule for the final Saturday in October. Oklahoma at Ole Miss. That's 11 a.m. kick at ESPN. 11:45 in the morning, Arkansas at Mississippi State. That's an SEC Network game. Again, the only home game of our Big Four teams. 2:30, as Tulsa has their homecoming, hosting Texas San Antonio. That is an ESPN Plus game. Also on ESPN Plus, the latest game for our Big Four, 2:30 kickoff, Oklahoma State at Baylor. All right, here's this week's 8th Associated Press College Football Poll, a new number 1. After 8 weeks, the Oregon Ducks become the 4th different team this season, told the number 1 ranking, moving into the top spot for the first time in 12 years after Texas lost at home to Georgia. Georgia went to number 2. Penn State and Ohio State stayed 3 and 4. The Longhorns dropped 4 spots from number 1 to number 5. Tennessee's upset win over Alabama, with the Volunteers up to 7, while the Crimson Tide fell 8 spots down to number 15 after their second loss of the season. The top Big 12 team rankings are Iowa State number 10, Brigham Young is 11, Kansas State 16. Vanderbilt, by the way, made their first appearance since the 2013 season at number 25. Defending national champion Michigan fell out of the top 25 after a second straight loss. It's time now for our Tulsa World Hot Topics. The Tulsa Ice Holders started the 73rd season of hockey and 11th in the East Central Hockey League with a 2-game weekend sweep at the home ice, the BLK Center. They beat Rapid City, winning 7-1 and 4-1. They have 4 more home games coming up. Oilers on Thursday, October 24th, have a school day game, 10:35 in the morning, as they host the school kids in the area for the Allen Americans coming to town. On the September 26th, a Saturday, Wichita Thunder at 7:05. Then the first week in November, they're home with the Iowa Heartlanders. They play the second and the third, 7:05, second and the 3:05 for the game on the 3rd of November. FC Tulsa season came to a close after a long chase trying to make the playoffs. They lost 2-1 this past Saturday against Hartford Athletic. FC Tulsa got on the board first in that game as Stefan Sojanovic made a penalty kick in the 10th minute. But the 2-1 defeat mathematically eliminated FC Tulsa. They fall to 8-14-11, 35 points, and down to 10th in the Western Conference. You had to be in the top 8. 24 season comes to an end this Saturday night, the 26th of October. It's a 7 p.m. match at One Oak Field against Monterey Bay FC. Celebrate Halloween and feature a post-match fireworks show. And head coach Mario Sanchez will be joining us later on the program here to wrap up the 2024 FC Tulsa season. The Oklahoma City Thunder closed out its preseason schedule this past week, opened their 24-25 NBA regular season this Thursday, October 24th at Denver. Then they have a game in Chicago against the Bulls on the 26th. Thunder's first home game of 41 contest this Sunday, the 27th. They'll host the Atlanta Hawks. Then San Antonio comes to the Paycom Arena in OKC on the 30th. And the 120th World Series is set. It truly looks like a fall classic. Coast-to-coast best of 7 for the championship between 2 baseball iconic franchises. The New York Yankees, winners of a record 27 rings, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. It'll be the 12th time they've met in the World Series, but the first time since 1981. It starts this Friday. First 2 games in L.A. The series will go all 7. They could be playing baseball into November. Game 7 would be November the 2nd. The American League, by the way, leads the all-time series of the World Series with 68 titles. National League with 51. After trying to get Scott Hennessy, or Drillers manager, working with the Los Angeles Dodgers and their coaching staff. Coming up next, former Army football coach Todd Berry, also former president of the American Football Coach Association, got some strong thoughts on the way the college game is going right now. That's next here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Stay right there.
Billy Sims knows barbecue.
Like what?
How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs?
Okay, how?
We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
So when?
Every day.
Where?
Wherever you want. Online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service. Loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
Scheels is now open at the Woodland Hills Mall in Tulsa, and we can't thank you enough for the warm welcome. Whether you love the great outdoors, sports, or fashion, Scheels has something for everyone. Our passionate and knowledgeable Scheels experts are excited to welcome you to explore thousands of brands and premium products. From our golf simulator, service shop, archery lanes, and more, we're ready to get you fitted with the best gear for you. We can't wait to see you at Scheels.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice for another ice melt a year. He shoots, he scores. Saturday, it's a doubleheader live at the BOK Center. The puck drops at 4 o'clock for the Junior Oilers, and then again at 7 o'clock for the Tulsa Oilers. The first 1,000 fans get a free Tulsa Oilers hat. This is the ultimate in fast-paced entertainment. It's turned over and going the other way. Get your tickets now at TulsaOilers.com. One ticket gets you into both games. It's hard-hitting, pulse-pounding, smash-mouth excitement. Ooh, I can feel that one. Get your tickets now at TulsaOilers.com. One ticket gets you into both games. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey are back.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
And welcome back inside the incredible Scheels store here. And with us now is Todd Berry, former coach at West Point, the Army, the Navy, one of his coaching years there. And then, of course, former past president of the American Football Coaches Association. Todd, good to see you again, my friend.
It's good to see you too, Chris. Thank you.
People are going crazy over this Army football team, undefeated, national rank number 23. And these are not guys coming out of the service to play for Army. These are cadets that are in school, getting their education and playing for football.
That's correct. Yeah, there's, I think, a fallacy out there. These young people are coming directly from the Army.
Right, yeah.
You know, and they're not. I mean, this is both the United States Military Academy at West Point, right, which is Army, the Naval Academy and Air Force are all, top 10 universities in the country.
Sure.
And these young people are not just serving, but they've got quite a bit on their plate academically also.
Todd, you coached at the Military Academy in 2000, 2003, the win over Navy, threw them there 26-17, 2001. But this 2024 season, this is just incredible. Yes. They took off. Unfortunately, we got a first-hand look at that Army team. They rolled TU earlier this year.
Yeah, they're rolling quite a few people this year. And, it's and the Naval Academy's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I would suggest to you, it was interesting, I was talking with Jeff Monken, the head coach of the Army, before the Tulsa game. And, in this time frame of the NIL, the name, image, and likeness piece, the portal, and people being able to change over and all that, we were talking about that because obviously you can't just pick up a player from some other university and bring him to Army because of the academics and the training and all those kind of things that have to go on. But he said, they were fortunate that they had young people that were coming to Army because they had a little higher goal than just basically playing football or making money. There was something else about them. And so they were able to retain most of their players. And I found this to be really interesting because I've heard this from a lot of coaches around the country. And I'm not saying it's necessarily everyone is experiencing this, but it makes it's rational to believe that probably a lot are dealing with this. With the roster turnover at most universities, everybody, for probably I don't even know how to say it any better, but everybody's having to dumb down their schemes a little bit. You're not having players basically grow up in your schemes.
Right, sure.
And even in your installation, because you've got players coming in all the time, it becomes hard because you've got all of a sudden maybe 50% of your team there in spring practice. Bottom line is, Jeff had kind of mentioned that's one thing that he feels like that they can be ahead on a little bit is the fact that because they've been able to retain players and because most of those players are seniors and most of them are growing up in their programs,
right? Yeah.
They have a chance to be a little bit more complex, a little bit more difficult than everybody else is to play. And so I think that's showing up a little bit.
And I guess NIL, is that figuring at all? I wouldn't think so. West Point.
No, it doesn't. Now, they do get paid there a monthly salary besides getting all their education paid for.
Right.
They get paid like a private in the Army.
Okay.
Basically.
Yeah.
And I tell you the other thing too, Chris, and this is playing out, I think, all across the country too. Both Navy and Army have really, really good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And in college football right now, if you've got a quarterback, you've got a chance. And if you don't have a quarterback, it is really hard.
So, Todd, you experienced it. What are some of the unique features of getting athletes together and coaching at Military Academy?
Well, obviously the recruiting part of it. There are some things that it doesn't mean that you have to go out there and recruit only people that are interested in serving. Right. Because a lot of them don't really understand that
what's
much
the
about
commitment?
it. Basically, they spend 4 years at the academy.
Right.
Okay, just like a normal college situation. And then they give 5 years to the Army afterwards. Sometimes that can be longer based off of, if they decide to go into medical school or fly helicopters or something along those lines, they ask for a little longer commitment.
Well, let's look at the rest of the Army schedule and talk about this team right now. They, of course, hammered East Carolina last week. They got to open this week. Mm-hmm. Then looking forward to Air Force coming to West Point. That's a Commander's Trophy up for that, right?
That will be the first game for Army of that.
Yeah.
Air Force has already lost to Navy.
Oh, okay.
And so if Air Force loses this game, then they're completely out of it. And Air Force has had some great programs. Troy's done a great job there. They've had great years, but they're struggling this year a little bit.
November 9th, they're at North Texas. Then on the 16th, another open date for Army. Then November 23rd, Yankee Stadium, the Bronx, Notre Dame Army. That goes back to some great games back in the early 40s and some of the legendary games.
Well, you look back at the history of of the United States Military Academy there at West Point, and you go back to that era that in the 40s, right during World War II and after World War II, were probably the most dominant football teams in college football history during that time frame. And it was really neat to be a part of that legacy there because it's still very strong. And a lot of those guys, Doc Blanchard and Glenn Davis were both alive whenever I was coaching there.
Wow,
so they were up there on the weekends, and just to have an opportunity to kind of meet and some of those individuals, and then obviously you have generals and congressmen and even presidents that come to games, and so there's some uniqueness about being there. But the Notre Dame game, they don't play every year like Navy plays Notre Dame every year. But this will be a special game, and this will probably determine a little bit about what maybe their chances are in the CFP later on the college football playoff.
Because after the Notre Dame game at Yankee Stadium, they had to take on Texas San Antonio. Then who would thought they got to look now? December 6th is the American Conference Championship game, and that could be again Army Navy, both undefeated, both leading the conference right now. And then 8 days later, Army Navy, the game.
Right, the scheduled game, which is a non-conference game, even though they're in the same conference. And the CFP meets right before that game also.
Wow. Yeah.
The last one there, the last Army Navy that you'd mentioned. And so you're right, you could end up with them playing twice, back-to-back, which doesn't happen very much in college football, does in basketball, but this is going to be some new experiences for the football coaches having to, because this could happen multiple. We could have multiple games this year that are rematches based off of the playoff.
AAC Championship game again December 6th. Then December 14th is Army Navy. That's going to be Commander Stadium in Landover, Maryland. Both Army Navy have been currently unbeaten, both nationally ranked in the top 25, so it could really be especially into the year. At this point, you're in the middle of what they call the Yankee Stadium presentation project. The 100-year-old stadium, they're updating it, doing a lot of stuff. And what history of that place, too, huh?
Oh, it's incredible. And you've been there.
Yeah. Thanks to you, Coach. Had a great tour last year.
Well, it's I don't know that ever, when you look at it, you can certainly appreciate the beauty and the history and some of those kind of things because it kind of reeks of all of those things.
Oh, it does it, yeah.
But there's something about walking around that campus and knowing whose footsteps you're walking in. And but Mikey Stadium is incredible stadium, and the renovation probably needed to happen. Whenever I was there, we actually had, our press box was actually, I'm not lying, it was a double wide trailer that they stuck up on top of the stadium.
I've done high school games from some of those
things.
That's
and so that's exactly what we had, was a double wide trailer. And so we were able to do that, and we actually put lights in, which we had no lights. When I first got to practice there, and it was right after daylight savings time had ended, and you don't get the players till 4:30 because they're involved in everything else there at the academy. And we walk out, there's like 30 minutes of light left. And all of a sudden I see all these 2.5-ton trucks come driving up, and this is true, turned on their headlights and parked all the way around the practice field. And that's how we practice, basically, with 2.5-ton truck headlights. So
now, are you finally retired as executive director of the American Football Coaches Association?
That's correct. I am retired. Yeah, that's nice.
Well, what about the state of college football now with portals and NILs? And what are your thoughts, Todd?
Oh, I don't have not very fond of it. It's part of the reason why I'm retired.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see more of my age group that have the same kind of frustrations. This is not amateur athletics. This is not college athletics anymore. These are not college athletes. While they still kind of have to go to class, the question is, do they have to? And now, you're seeing coaches because, they're penalizing players by not allowing for NIL money to be distributed, other than them losing game time. Because that is a greater influence than losing game time now. And so it's created just a huge, dramatic impact on the way the game's played, and I'm not a fan of it. I wouldn't survive very well.
As you leave, I got to get a quick review from you. I did a quick walkabout here at Scheels. What do you think of this place, huh?
This is incredible.
They could arm the Fifth Army.
I walked by there trying to get to this place, and you're right. It's an incredible. This is something.
Coach, as always, great day with us. Appreciate it, my friend. Take care, buddy.
My
Go
pleasure.
Army.
Thank you. Be Navy.
As always.
Yeah.
Come right back. And Michael Knight is back from his 11-hour round-trip road trip to cover a high school football game last week. I'll tell you about it next.
Scheels is now open at the Woodland Hills Mall in Tulsa, and we can't thank you enough for the warm welcome. Whether you love the great outdoors, sports, or fashion, Scheels has something for everyone. Our passionate and knowledgeable Scheels experts are excited to welcome you to explore thousands of brands and premium products. From our golf simulator, service shop, archery lanes, and more, we're ready to get you fitted with the best gear for you. We can't wait to see you at Scheels.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
As the sun rises over eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
And welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene. We're behind the scenes here at the incredible Scheels store. Get out to Woodland Hills Mall, take a look at the Superstore. Michael, you believe this place?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we had a fortunate position where we were able to be here before it opened a few weeks ago. I was blown away then. I'm blown away now. It's fantastic.
Michael Knight is our insider on high school football, all things Prep Redzone, Oklahoma. And I'll tell you, this guy, nobody covers like he does it. Only Michael Knight would drive 5.5 hours one way to watch a high school football game. Tell us about that trip, and was the game worth it?
Oh, yeah, it was. And we talked about it last week, number 1 versus number 2, state championship rematch. I went all the way out to Hooker, Oklahoma, way in the panhandle. There's a whole lot of nothing out there. And what I found was a really good football game, and specifically a football team in the Bulldogs, where they remembered last year's disappointment in the state championship. And I talked about it on the show last week, how I thought Hooker was probably the better team, even though Fairview had won back-to-back titles, 36 in a row. I really liked the experience and the players that the Bulldogs were bringing back to this season. And it showed. They dominated from start to finish, 38-7. They snapped Fairview's 36-game winning streak. Cleet Martins, their senior quarterback, he had a great game. And here's a story that it makes it worth it. It makes the travel out there worth it, and I'm happy to be able to talk about it with, some intimate knowledge of it. Martins was knocked out of the championship game last year. He had to sit in the second half with a hip injury and watch his team, settle for a runner-up finish. If he was healthy, they probably still lose, and his coach admitted that beforehand, but it just left a sour taste in his mouth. And in this game, he absolutely dominated. So it was a great redemption story for him. Hooker's the new number 1 team. They're the new team to beat in Class A1. And, look, I got home around 3 a.m., and, the first question that people asked was it worth it? Yes, it was. It was a great game, great contest, and, we might see him face off again later on.
Then you had a quick turnaround for a game on Friday.
Nope, no turnaround. Went on vacation on Friday. Went down to Broken Bow and spent some time with the family.
As you should.
More time in the car, unfortunately.
All right, so another top game show last week. Jinx, looks like they're finding their feet. Played Deer Creek, shut them out, dominated.
Yeah, I think the shutout is the impressive part, because Deer Creek's offense is a well-oiled machine. They have a D1 quarterback in Grady Adamson. And for Jinx to play as well as they did defensively, that's what stood out to me. I thought Jinx was the better team. I thought that they would win. The fact that they shut out Deer Creek, It really stood out to me, and they continue to pick up momentum. And despite starting 1-3, I wasn't ready to hit the panic button, and they're kind of showing why. Like the schedule they played in September was brutal. It was tough. They tested themselves. They found where they had some weaknesses, and it looks like they're fixing them right now.
Choctaw and Stillwater, boy, they played a heck of a game.
Yeah, and we knew that was probably going to be the case. Those were two of the best teams in 6A2. They're definitely the two best teams in that district. Choctaw's offense, I talked about it on last week's show. They're playing really well. Balanced attack in that win over Stillwater, and now they're in command of that district race to get a playoff bye and a better road to a potential state championship game.
Had a couple overtime games last week. Heritage Hall 27, Plainview 21 extra time, and then Washington 35, Marlow 20 overtime.
Yeah, and I'll start with that one. With Fairview losing, Washington has the longest active winning streak in the state now with 37 consecutive wins.
Ooh.
And they almost had it snapped. They were in control of that game. Marlow had a furious second half rally to force overtime, but they couldn't get the job done in overtime. This is the second time, Chris, that Washington has had to go to overtime to win a game this year. All the other games, they've been absolutely dominant. So maybe something happens with Washington on their pursuit of a third consecutive state championship. But in my mind, they're still the favorite to win there. And then for Heritage Hall, I don't think they've lost a district game in about a decade. And they were down 14-0 at halftime. It looked like they were going to have that winning streak snapped. But they were able to rally in the second half, force overtime, and then come out in the extra period and get a win. Their running back, Barrett Travis, had a great game, and they continue to win those district games. Now they're in command of that district with a big win over Plainview.
All right, talk about some of the top games this week. And, Michael, for you, much shorter trip.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, anything is going to be shorter. I think that's I could drive to Dallas and the Waco area, and it'd be a shorter trip than going out to the Panhandle. But headed to Sand Springs, big game in 6A2. Yeah. Muskogee on the road against Sand Springs. Muskogee, your defending state champion in 6A2. And, they've been rolling over the last several weeks. This district is not as competitive as some of the other ones. And so both Sand Springs and Muskogee, they've had the benefit of blowing teams out in the first half and then resting their starters. Yeah. This is going to be a 4-quarter game. The quarterback matchup in this game is outstanding. Jamarian Ficklin for Muskogee, Easton Webb for Sand Springs. Ficklin is committed to Texas State. He's one of the best quarterbacks in Oklahoma. And Webb on the other side of this matchup he might be the most improved quarterback in the state of Oklahoma. The jump that he's made from his sophomore to junior year this year is off the charts good. I'm looking forward to seeing both of those guys in person on Friday.
Matt McAllister, Buffalo's coming to Booker T. Washington. Boy, the Hornets are playing a lot better football now.
Yeah, both of these teams are on 5-game winning streaks. Booker T, they started the year 0-2. They've won 5 straight ever since. McAllister, they dropped a non-district game to Poto. They've won 5 straight. Both running backs in this matchup are really good as well. 2 juniors for McAllister, Jordan Clark for Booker T. Washington, Micah Washington. And for Micah, he is, and honestly both running backs, they are playing really good football, specifically in the last couple of weeks. So I'm expecting a very competitive game, and this is another matchup this week that we're looking at it in November and say, okay, this is what decided the district champion here.
We know for sure Tuttle High School is producing great quarterbacks.
Yeah.
OU knows one for sure. And they have a big game at Blanchard at Tuttle.
Yeah, and this is one of the games that I had circled before the season. Last year, they met in the regular season. Blanchard beat them 20-6, and they didn't score a single touchdown on offense. All 3 of their touchdowns came from turnovers, interception returns, fumble returns. It was impressive to see. It was one of the more bizarre games I've ever covered. Both of these teams come into this week undefeated. Tuttle is a team that looks like a state championship contender. Blanchard is the defending state champion in 4A. So this is a game that I've had circled on the calendar for a long time, but when it came down to deciding where am I going, after all the miles I logged last week, I went ahead and I'm going to Sand Springs instead of out to Tuttle, but both of those matchups are going to be can't miss.
Pauls Valley's a long trip, too, and that's where Heritage Hall plays this week.
Yeah, and Heritage Hall, they just got tested last week against Plainview. Now they have to go back on the road and deal with a really tough Pauls Valley team that has one of the best running backs in the state in Caden Knighton. It's going to be another tough test for the Chargers.
Good night. The inside source, Prep Red Zone Oklahoma. Tell them how to get involved.
Yeah, just check us out online, prepredzone.com/Oklahoma. You can check out all of our game highlights on YouTube. Just search Prep Red Zone Oklahoma, and you can follow us on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at Prep Red Zone OK.
Come right back with some more football, a different type of football. It's soccer. Mario Sanchez, head coach of FC Tulsa, is here to wrap up their 24 season. Next.
Billy Sims knows barbecue.
Like what?
How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs?
Okay, how?
We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
So when?
Every day.
Where?
Wherever you want. Online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service. Loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Around the clock, throughout eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
Look who showed up at Scheels. Head coach of FC Tulsa, Mario Sanchez. Mario, they gave you a quick tour here of that soccer section of Scheels. What do you think of this place?
Blown away. Not just the soccer section. The soccer section was great. Seeing the variety of products and brands, everything a family could need for soccer. But I mean, honestly, I'm overwhelmed. This is my first time in one, and I've heard about it, and it's legendary. And I'm going to take a longer tour as soon as we're done here.
Scheels also prides themselves in getting involved with the community. They've already done some stuff with FC Tulsa.
Yeah, they did an activation at one of the games recently, and we were just talking right now that we got to get together and do some clinics for some kids and bring both great brands together.
Well, the season's about to wrap.
Yeah.
This coming Saturday wraps things up on the hosting Hartford Athletic. And Coach, we hope that might have been for that 8th final playoff spot, but just got knocked out.
Yeah, the goal always was to be in contention for the playoffs the whole year.
And we were.
And we were. Yeah, so
no.
that was definitely positive. Negative, obviously, we're not going to make the playoffs. Yeah. So we got to make sure we finish strong. But a lot of growth, a lot of learning from me about the players, and I think we got to just come back and add a few pieces and get ready for the playoffs for next year.
Talk about the match coming up on Saturday night. How do you match up with Hartford then?
So we actually played Monterey this coming. We just played Hartford.
That was a 2-1 setback.
Yeah, really, it was a great game. Got the early goal against Hartford, and unfortunately scored an own goal in the first half, making 1-1.
Yeah.
And then just couldn't get the second. And then we finished with Monterey this Saturday night. The biggest thing is just to end on a positive note.
How about an evaluation of this team overall? I know there's some disappointments. We had some trades late, people moving around and stuff, and lost some of our firepower late in the season.
Yeah, one thing, throughout the year we defended really well. At one point we were one of the top 5 in the league in defending.
Yeah.
But we had to struggle scoring goals. And, if you don't score goals, it's difficult to win. Right. We had 11 ties, which I think was the second most or the most in the league. Ironically, in the West, our conference, against the top 4 teams, we're undefeated. Really odd. New Mexico, who won it, we did 2 ties against them. Vegas, who was in second, we have a win and a tie against them. Really, really interesting. So we've shown that we can play and compete and get results against the best, but we lack the consistency.
You're such a good, strong defensive side. That means to get that guy in the net's done a good job. How about your goal?
Yeah, we brought in a young man, Johan, who actually came to preseason with us. At that time, we couldn't sign him. And then we brought him back in June, and he's been one of the top goalkeepers in the league. At one point, he won Goalkeeper of the Month for the whole entire league. Can't say enough about him as a goalkeeper, but as a human being, as a leader. So he's definitely will be a cornerstone moving forward. We signed him to a long-term contract, which is great news for everybody here. We got the biggest thing is we got to add some pieces on the attack.
All right, let's talk about the prospects for 2025 for FC Tulsa.
Yeah. So really, I could say it's right now we're in the market for a forward and a winger. Like I said, we really struggled to score goals. We were very young. We had the second youngest team in the whole entire league. So the positive is all of our young players got a ton of minutes. We were just kind of as a staff looking over, and we had majority, over half our minutes went to players that only 2 years in the league, which is a good thing, bad thing. Right now going through the growing pains, it's tough. But the good news is that means these guys are going to have a lot of experience moving forward.
I've been impressed with the FC Tulsa ownership to make a real commitment. You guys are really spread out and internationally looking for talent.
Yeah, we're everywhere. We're going to, like we said, turn over every rock, and that's what we're doing right now. You know what I mean? It's just making sure that we explore every option and get a couple USL veteran players. At the same time, continue to look for international talent.
Done a great job of making a really nice game atmosphere.
Yeah.
Great marketing, a lot of activity going on. Your impression of the Tulsa soccer fans?
Seriously, unbelievable. I get that question a lot. Some of the best fans I've ever seen, like loyal, loud, through ups and downs, they're always there. The crowds have been really, really consistent, which is great to see. I do think, talking to people love the environment at One Oak, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful setting downtown. And one thing we have done is we've been very entertaining, like to the end, the guys fight, and games have been close, so I think they can appreciate that the guys never stop working hard and they fight till the end. But now it's up to us. We got to get, some wins in there and make the population grow and, get some bigger crowds.
Well, I appreciate that FC Tulsa's kind of embraced the past, too.
Yeah.
The Tulsa Roughnecks, great legacy. Soccer Bowl championship legacy with that franchise.
Yeah, we had a Roughnecks reunion night, which was great. To see all that, we still selling the merchandise from the Roughnecks, I think, which is awesome. We should never forget it. I mean, winning the Soccer Bowl, the championship in '83. I mean, that's something that I know the Crafts are committed to, making sure that legacy continues. And for myself as well, I met some of the alumni, and they're great guys, and we got to make sure we bring another championship back here.
Okay, now what's your schedule like? Once Saturday's over, put the soccer equipment away, and then what's your routine?
Scouting. Whether it's a college game, a lot of travel, I'll probably go abroad to Europe at some point, and then living on my phone with agents. I'm already doing that, all day today. We had the day off from training. We'll start tomorrow. But it's literally on the phone with agents, and then we go to all the University of Tulsa or Roberts games to watch the college players, local and teams are coming in. Then we'll hit up, just like any other sport, we'll hit up all the different conference tournaments and the Final Four for college soccer, and then definitely I'll get abroad at some point as well.
I know FC Tulsa really worked with the youth here in the community too, and how's that going? Anything coming up for the youth here?
So every Tuesday, Thursday, with the Union School District, we're doing clinics at various schools, whether it's the elementary schools, the junior high. So we got players out there all the time doing these clinics on Tuesdays and Thursdays after school.
Let's talk about national, international soccer. What is the state of our men's and women's national soccer teams right now?
Well, the women continue to be, literally the epitome of women's soccer. Winning the Olympics was amazing. I think I've told you, I have two daughters that play. My wife played. So we're following the NWSL. Emma Hayes, what she's doing with the women's national team is amazing. And then a big hire on the men's side with Mauricio Pochettino. We're excited. Hosting, you got the World Cup coming up here in 2026.
That's right.
It is going to be, it's going to happen fast. And then, Dallas is hosting, Kansas City is hosting. So for us here in Tulsa, we're going to be really close to the World Cup.
World Cup 2026, June 8th through July the 3rd, hosted by 3 North American nations. It's USA, Canada, and Mexico. 16 venues. And here in the USA, you mentioned Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, Los Angeles, Miami, New York, New Jersey area there, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Seattle, and all ends then on the World Cup championship game will be at the Meadowlands, right?
Oh, yeah. Right now, I couldn't be more excited. The league, the USL is talking about what they're going to do. are we going to take a break or play through it? They haven't decided yet.
Right.
But soccer is going to be buzzing these next couple years.
And it's a different World Cup. They've expanded the format now, but it's very interesting. They've gone to 48 teams, up from 32, split into 12 groups. There'll be a total of 104 matches, up from 80. So a lot more soccer.
A lot of soccer.
Yeah, great.
This is going to become a soccer country. But no, the sport continues to grow. It's amazing to see all these kids playing and the growth of it all at every single level.
I was going to say, what is it going to take I just keep thinking closer and closer, the youth build up to make this a soccer nation. What do we need?
I'll be honest with you. I don't think the U.S. is ever. I'm okay saying that. I don't think we're ever going to be a soccer nation per se.
Right, yeah.
Baseball, basketball, football, hockey.
Sure.
I think this country is big enough to have soccer in its place. So I think look, we don't have to overtake those sports to be successful. I mean, right now, Major League Soccer is having one of its best years ever in attendance. The money coming into the sport. The USL continues to grow. The league we're in. So I think now. I think we're actually trying to change that narrative that we have to be a soccer nation. Look, let's have just a country that supports soccer and appreciate it. I think more than anything, just appreciating the sport is the most important.
And I always have to end with this. When will Tulsa get a soccer-exclusive stadium?
Love that. I can still promise you, like I've told you, they are working on it. It's going to happen. I'll let the Crafts talk about that one day with you.
Yes.
But I know it's going to happen. Talks are progressing in a positive way. They're talking about a stadium that would be multi-purpose and not just for FC Tulsa, but for the youth, for college, for high school, and maybe a professional women's team one day as well.
Mario Sanchez, our coach at FC Tulsa. Congratulations, top 10 finish. Top 10 finish.
Hey, appreciate that.
Just missed the playoffs there.
Yep.
Well, get out there at Scheels, do some soccer buying.
I'm going to go out and walk around, hopefully not spend too much money.
We're going to come right back here and get another amazing look at another department here at Scheels. Stay right here.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice for another ice melt a year. He shoots, he scores. Saturday, it's a doubleheader live at the BOK Center. The puck drops at 4 o'clock for the Junior Oilers, and then again at 7 o'clock for the Tulsa Oilers. The first 1,000 fans get a free Tulsa Oilers hat. This is the ultimate in fast-paced entertainment. It's turned over and going the other way. Get your tickets now at TulsaOilers.com. One ticket gets you into both games. It's hard-hitting, pulse-pounding, smash-mouth excitement. Ooh, I can feel that one. Get your tickets now at TulsaOilers.com. One ticket gets you into both games. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey are back.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park continues into December with plenty of winning primetime action. The final evening of the season will feature horses trying to reach the 2025 Kentucky Derby by competing in the Springboard Mile. Remington Park's top 2-year-old stakes event of the year leads a stakes-filled program. The normal Remington Park Racing Week is Wednesday through Saturday, first race nightly, 6:30 p.m. Special Monday and Tuesday racing happens in late November at 2:30 p.m. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations.
As the sun rises over eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Back inside Scheels. I mean, we're back inside Scheels, up here on the second floor of their big complex training center here. We're joined now by Dyson Merry. He is their assistant store leader. So tell us what that entails, and of course you're an import, right, from North Dakota?
Yeah, so I started there originally, but essentially what my job is going to be is I take the rest of the crew, I get them trained up on how to run a shop and teach them different things about product and really get to the business side of things.
Now we had the grand opening on October 19th, great event, but before that, all behind the scenes, how much was involved in training these employees? How many employees are we talking about here?
Oh, I mean, hundreds of hours. It was insane. There was a good portion. We were in the Career Center just north of here, and we had probably about 200 people in there. We were doing trainings every day from 8 a.m. till about 5 p.m., along with doing all of our volunteer activities also. So
I was impressed with how many local people are involved in this too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's primarily we do most of it with people from Tulsa.
Yeah.
Obviously, we do ship in a lot of people from across the company to help get the store open, do different product training, stuff like that, but majority of it's done by Tulsans.
We had Bobby Brown on earlier of the store, and for that, we had Pete Philippi on last a couple of shows ago to talk about the structure of this. And one thing I was so impressed by is just the energy here because of that corporate owned. You really own, the employees own this company.
Yeah, it gives you a different level of work ethic when it comes to this stuff. A lot of the people here, I would just say, just the teammates that we have from Tulsa, the culture that they have coming straight into it, it's been top notch. I've worked in a few different stores and I've seen a bunch of different stores too. The people from Tulsa are amazing.
Over 313,000 square feet, 75 shops. What have been things that really stood out, people have talked to you about, commented about, or maybe some strange requests you've had?
Yeah. Wide variety. I've had people, looking at snowboards and skis. A lot of people have been really interested in our bike section. Basketball, football, baseball. I mean, it's insane. But we don't sell motor oil or mattress covers, so I've had people ask. Sadly, we do not carry that stuff quite yet.
Another one that blew me away was your barbecue outdoor section there. I mean, did I see a grill for like $5,000 or more or something? Or?
Oh yeah. So we got Yoder's, which are out of Kansas.
Yeah.
We also carry Oklahoma Joe. We carry Traeger, Big Green Egg. We've got a wide variety of the different styles of smokers, but also different grills that we've got here in store.
You're not going to go hungry in this place either.
No.
A lot of activities here as well for that.
Yeah. Jenna's Cafe. If you want a good lunch, that's a great place to go.
And the candy store is really popular with everybody.
We were sardined in there all weekend. It was a good time.
The other thing I'm impressed by too is how big, how spacious. You never feel crowded in this store with all the people though too.
Yeah. Having the big atrium area where the Ferris wheel's at, it makes it open it up quite a bit. It's nice having sunlight too. You can really get to feel comfortable inside the store.
And the hours here at Scheels?
Yeah, so we are open Monday through Friday. We will be opened at 9:30 and we will close at 9 o'clock at night. Saturday we will open at 9:30 also, close at 9 o'clock. And then on Sunday we are open 10 to 6.
Your favorite part of the store, your favorite part of your job here with Scheels, your career?
I would just say working with the people.
Yeah.
I've worked a few other places, a couple other different careers, and I will say the people at Scheels are really what make it worth it.
Dyson Merry, he's the guy behind the scenes here doing a great job at Scheels, and you need to come out and experience it yourself. Until we really enjoy it, come experience Scheels. Right back with more on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Stay right there.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Billy Sims knows barbecue.
Like what?
How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs?
Okay, how?
We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
So when?
Every day.
Where?
Wherever you want. Online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service. Loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park continues into December with plenty of winning primetime action. The final evening of the season will feature horses trying to reach the 2025 Kentucky Derby by competing in the Springboard Mile. Remington Park's top 2-year-old stakes event of the year leads a stakes-filled program. The normal Remington Park Racing Week is Wednesday through Saturday, first race nightly 6:30 p.m. Special Monday and Tuesday racing happens in late November at 2:30 p.m. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
The 32nd Oklahoma Classics night in the books at Remington Park. A lot of great stakes action throughout the night for the top Oklahoma breds. Let's take a look at the best events. The Oklahoma Classic Distaff Turf at 1 16th over the firm turf. Field of 7. Do You Wanna Dance was trying to win her 3rd consecutive race over the Remington Park turf this season. Swinging off the rail and coming for run. Top of the lane, it's Do You Wanna Dance and drenched. Here comes Run, Sloopy Run. The veteran coming after Do You Wanna Dance. Drenched, checks out at the furlong pole. Do You Wanna Dance. Digging in, asked for more. Up by 3, Run, Sloopy Run, trying to gain. It's just not happening. Do You Wanna Dance. Favored Do You Wanna Dance gets it done to win 3 straight. Paying $3.20 for the win. Run Sloopy Run, a 2-time winner of the Distaff Turf, was a very solid second. Do You Wanna Dance, owned by Terry Westmeyer of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Scott Young, the trainer. Leandro Gonzalez, the winning jockey. It was his 2nd win of the evening. For Scott Young, it was his 3rd all-time Classics victory. In the Oklahoma Classics Distaff Handicap, Miss Code West was coming back to Oklahoma Bred Company after facing Open Company on Oklahoma Derby Day in the Remington Park Oaks, where she ran 2nd, and Miss Code West did not disappoint. Back against her own breed, Miss Code West rolled to her 6th career victory at Remington Park. Floyd Wethy, the winning jockey, Kevin Scholl, trainer, owners Jeffrey Puryear and Julie Puryear of Denton, Texas. Miss Code West back on winning track against Oklahoma Breds in the Distaff Handicap. The OKC Turf Classic Handicap at 1 16th over the firm turf saw a rematch of horses who battled last year. Eakley, the winner a year ago, versus Tap the Dot, who won 2 years ago. Quarter mile to go in the Turf Classic Handicap. Up front, Eakley kicks it clear and is quickly out by 4, just like that, straightening away sharply. Mindbolt free in 2nd, coming after Eakley. Tap the Dots moving into the 3rd, inside the final furlong. Eakley up by 3 with a 16th to go. Tap the Dot full of steam right behind Mindbolt, but they won't catch Eakley. 2 in a row in the Turf Classic for Eakley. Eakley makes it 2 straight wins in the OKC Turf Classic Handicap. Trained by Donnie Von Himmel, that is his 32nd victory overall on Oklahoma Classics night and his 7th in the Classics Turf. Richard Arambia, the winning jockey, picked up his 2nd victory of the evening. He's up to 14 overall Classics wins now. Cheyenne Stable, the winning owner out of Oklahoma City, for Eakley, the winner of the OKC Turf Classic Handicap. The main event on Classics night, the Classics Cup at 1 16th on the main track. A field of 7 with 1 invader from out of state, Winners Lion, who has never faced Oklahoma Breds ever in his career. They're off for the Oklahoma Classics Cup, powered by FanDuel TV. A bit of a stumble by Flat Hanby at the start. CW Prize came away sharply and has the lead past the line first time. From the outside, number 1 Dude moving up in 2nd. Soul Sacrifice 3rd early, then Okie Smoke at the rail 4th. Ink Empire will go into the turn 5th. Half length better than Flat Hanby. Winners Lion, the gray, is at the back about 7 from the leader, which is CW Prize. Under Arambia out by 2 now, midway through the turn. Number 1 Dude is 2nd, a neck better than Soul Sacrifice as they roll to the backstretch. Okie Smoke, a neck better than Inca Empire, 4th and 5th there as they straighten away. Gap of 4 to Flat Hanby, and then 3 more to Winners Lion. 24.66 for the easy opening quarter. 5 furlongs left. The CW Prize showing the way by a little more than length over number 1 Dude. Okie Smoke's not going to wait much longer, scooting through at the rail and ready to take on the chase just outside a half mile. Soul Sacrifice is in tight in 4th. Ink Empire clear 5th. Gap of 5 back to Flat Hanby and another 2 to the late running Winners Lion. When Winners Lion fires, that's what he does as they go to the far turn. Half mile 1 at 49.78. 3 furlongs left in the Classics Cup. Still CW Prize. Number 1 Dude now getting closer. Winners Lion has begun a rally from the back. Is going 4 wide, but coming on strongly along with Inca Empire. Soul Sacrifice, Okie Smoke, and Flat Hanby round out the field. Less than a quarter mile to go. CW Prize is on top. Inca Empire is right there alongside in 2nd and going over the front. Inca Empire takes the lead in the Classics Cup outside the furlong pole. CW Prize trying to battle back. Number 1 Dude and Winners Lion after that. It's Inca Empire on top by almost a full length. CW Prize trying one more time. Not happening. Inca Empire takes the Classics Cup. Inca Empire gets it done for owner Danny Caldwell of Poteau, Oklahoma. For Caldwell, he wins the Classics Cup for a 3rd time, all 3 times with horses he had claimed in the months leading up to the big race here at Remington Park. Isaac Castillo, the winning jockey. For trainer Oscar Flores, Inca Empire pulls the upset and pays $18.60 for the win. In the Classics Cup, CW Prize was second. Third was the 5 Winners Lion. Fourth, number 7, Number 1 Dude. With the Oklahoma Classics over and done, our next big event night at Remington Park takes place on the final night of the season, December 13th, for Springboard Mile Night, our top 2-year-old stakes race of the year that carries valuable Kentucky Derby qualifying points for the 2025 Run for the Roses. Racing continues Wednesday through Saturday at Remington Park, October 23rd through October 26th. First race nightly at 6:30 p.m. At Remington Park in Oklahoma City, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sports Scene.
Great night of racing, Oklahoma Classics at Remington Park in Oklahoma City. Right back to wrap things up on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Scheels is now open at the Woodland Hills Mall in Tulsa, and we can't thank you enough for the warm welcome. Whether you love the great outdoors, sports, or fashion, Scheels has something for everyone. Our passionate and knowledgeable Scheels experts are excited to welcome you to explore thousands of brands and premium products. From our golf simulator, service shop, archery lanes, and more, we're ready to get you fitted with the best gear for you. We can't wait to see you at Scheels.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Hey, be sure to join us next week here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Wrap up the week in college football, week number 9. That's really been 9 weeks already of college football. And only one of our Big Four teams is at home. Tulsa celebrates their homecoming this Saturday. You know, Oklahoma's at Ole Miss with a new offensive coordinator and hopefully a new offense. Arkansas at Mississippi State, and the Cowboys are at Baylor. So 3 of our 4 Big Four teams on the road for college football this week. Also have our local basketball season tipping off coming up early in November here. We hope to have Ken Hayes on, former TU basketball coach, Hall of Famer. Going to talk TU basketball and more basketball with the Hall of Fame coach. Michael Knight's back with a high school football report as always. And we also have a preview of the Breeders' Cup Thoroughbred Championships. Our friend Randy Moss of NBC Sports will give us an analysis and take a look at some of the big races coming up in Del Mar the first weekend in November. All that next week on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Until then, as always remind you, be a good sport.